Dr. Wood, author of the book Miracles in Minutes. And the title of this video is Becoming Real. Real by meaning embracing your true self. I would say, there's the other 98%. You're fake. And in other words, you're not living a life on target. I think Henry David Thoreau said most men wander through life living a quiet existence. You're here, you're present, and just trying to survive. That's living from fear. And then one day you freaking die. That's it. That's not living. You miss life, and that's a problem. And today, as Brene Brown in her research, The Power of Vulnerability, Daring Greatly, a couple of her books, Braving the Wilderness, is that she states that we live in the most addicted, obese, in debt, depressed cohort society ever. We're richer. We have more money than ever before. You may not think we do, but go back about 300 years ago. You don't have plumbing. You don't have a car. You don't have none of that stuff. You don't have no cell phone. None of that shit. So our society's better off. We have more money. We have more things to do. There's Disneyland and all these things, but a lot of people are living that hedonic experiences, chasing cash and prizes, wanting to be liked, wanting to be fit in, and what they don't have is belonging. And we're wired for belonging. So we don't have, you might call that intimacy or connection. So a little bit about me. So that I was kind of on a journey. I was married for 17 years. Marriage didn't work. We didn't have connection, not at all in our relationship. And then I started dated a bunch of different girls. But even my whole life, when I noticed in dating, just that and I'll tell you what I told this one girl that I dated. Okay. So number one, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You just need to be honest. And what I see is usually called cat and mouse. So when women need to become vulnerable, and vulnerability is not a fun feeling, and guys don't like vulnerability either. To be vulnerable means that this is 100% out of your control. And that scares the shit out of people, because people love certainty. They like to, if you feel like you control, you keep yourself safe. This is where you're exposed. You're naked. You're seen. And the outcome is unknown. So if you can't tolerate that, call that it's uncomfortable. Most women are uncomfortable. Then you can't have love. Because what prevents that is shame. And shame is that I'm not good enough, and I'm not good enough comes from perfectionism. So it's a vicious cycle. So if perfection and women think to be loved, that almost like a guarantee, and guys too, that you'll be picked and people will love you. And what's perfection is that you do no wrong. Sociopaths think that way too. So do narcissists. But everybody there's narcissistic personality disorder, narcissistic traits. We all have narcissistic traits. But the problem is you're not with me, you're with yourself. And you're trying to solve the problem. How do I become perfect? I don't have any problems. That's not going to happen. So people are with themselves. They want connection, yet they're afraid to be seen. And that's trying to knock on my door of my house or my apartment, and you say, and I'm on the other side, or I'm on the outside. I'm knocking on your door. You're a woman, and you got the chain there. Who is it? Kiss me. Try to kiss you through this chain door, or looking through the peephole. Just send the love through under the slit in the door. Like that's just shit ain't gonna work. Because the fear is that you can get hurt, and the fear is legitimate because you can be hurt. Unless you're willing to risk getting your heart broken, your heart can't be loved. So it's God's funny that way. It's like Will Smith said, your greatest fear is also your greatest joy. They're stacked right beside each other. Where there's good, there's bad. Where there's up, there's down. Where there's hot, there's cold. Where there's left, there's right. Where there's love, there's also the possibility for heartbreak. If you choose, as Brene says, if you choose not to love that and not make yourself vulnerable, you can avoid getting hurt. And actually, I think those people suffer the most of all in life, because human beings are resilient. You can bounce back if you have things like emotional agility, which is, I'm looking at what stands in the way, of love and connection. And most of it's fear. So we have to deal with fear. There's a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. There's a book called The Tools by Dr. Phil Stutz and Barry Michaels. They have a tool in there called The Reversal of Desire, how to go through fear. They have this other book called Coming Alive, which is how to deal with the nonsense in your head. There's this book also called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield about the resistance of knowing that you need to do something. Instead, you do what you want to do versus what you know you need to do. Everybody knows they need to go and eat healthy and drink more water and get plenty of sleep. And what you want to do is stay up late and drink beer and eat potato chips. And usually the wanting to do wins out over the needing to do. And then you don't get what you really want. And then you're in continuous need. Because you're not doing what you need to do. So that's why you're needy. You're needing to take action, and you're not taking action. So the one girl that I dated, we broke up. It didn't end well. We were in and out our relationship. Every time she got close to me, she would start a fight with me and just sabotage it. And she did that out of fear of getting hurt, and she had hurt before she got to the relationship. And now since I'm in my early 50s, when I was dating her, I was in my late 40s, and and after you get married, dating in your 20s is one thing, dating in your 30s, 40s, and 50s is another thing, because people come in all banged up, bruised up. A lot of times they got a lot of emotional baggage, and a lot of times they haven't dealt with it, and now they're trying to jump into the next relationship and try to solve it. That's why the divorce rate's like at 60% for the second marriage and 70% for the third. People aren't dealing with their stuff. They're not dealing with their nonsense, and they're just trying to lean on somebody to just kind of hang out. And time's going by, so you're going to die loveless. So I told the girl that like I said, to be perfect, to be loved. I also told her that you don't know what love is. She goes, I do know what love is. So what is it? She goes, it's a feeling. So it's not a feeling. It's a commitment, goddammit. So if I only do what I want to do, I won't do much. I learned that from playing football. I didn't want to practice. It's hot as hell outside, but if I want to play, then I need to go practice. So I don't want to do it, but I'm going to go do it, because for me to do what I really want to do, I have to make the sacrifice and give up what I want to do now, drink beer and hang out at the pool and chase women, or I want to go put on my football gear, lace up my cleats, and run around in 98 degrees and 100% humidity. Well, that's not fun. That's not comfortable at all. But if I want to play, I better go do what I need to do so that way I can get what I want. So she said that's a commitment. I tried to tell her it's a commitment. And so I didn't trust her with the relationship, so I wasn't going to move too close, because there is no safety in it for me, because she's not willing to commit, and she was not willing to have grit. And every time there was a problem, she would run away. And this is her whole life. And this is her pattern. And I'm like, I really like you a lot, but there is no future for our relationship if this is how you handle problems. And her life was full of problems. And I'd ask her how she's doing. It's always in a bad place, and she's overwhelmed. I know you're fucking overwhelmed. I mean, you need to take action. And she just wouldn't move forward. She kept running back to her comfort zone, and shit's getting bad. So that's so. And the last thing I told her was, you don't know what love is, and neither does your mother. And I picked on her mother particularly because that was her idol. I did it on purpose to make her mad, and the reason why I try to make her mad, because I was trying to get her out of apathy. See, right above apathy is like, you're not moving. You're kind of, it's good enough. I'm safe enough. I don't care. I'm just gonna stay over here. Is you make people angry and they'll move. So I was pissed her off on purpose. I wanted her to fight for something. She won't fight for herself, so I was trying to get her to fight for her mother. I told her, she goes, no, my father loves my mother. I said, well, I understand the way you understand love. I got that part, but it's love. You understand love up here in your head. You don't understand love down here or deep in your bones. Because when you really feel love deep in your bones, it'll make you cry. Because you can't believe that someone loves you even though you're not perfect. So there's this condition there that humans have. That was the whole biblical story of Adam and Eve, is that since they sinned, they're no longer perfect, that God didn't love them. God didn't move away from them, they moved away from God. Or they moved away from love. Metaphorically, you don't have to believe in religion. I don't believe in religion either. But I understand the story where they lost contact with love. And they lost contact with themselves. And they lost contact with each other. And then sin, this original sin is shame, is that I'm not good enough. And Brene says on the other side is when you do take action, go, who do you think you are to be so great and wonderful? That's the two sides of the coin of shame. And so until you choose to have courage, there's no way out of this conundrum. There's no way out. It's just not going to happen. I called her a coward. She said, you're a coward. Like, stop fucking running. Turn and face me. Let's turn and face each other. Let's move. And most Western people are conflict avoidant. They avoid problems. They avoid rocking the boat. They avoid discomfort. They avoid pain. They avoid suffering. They avoid problems, and they wind up dying loveless and isolated. And that's a greater suffering. And that's part of the reason why we have so much anxiety and depression in the world today. It's because what we don't have is connection and intimacy and true belonging, that someone loves you as you are and are not based upon what you just look like. I love a pretty woman. All guys do. But I'm loving not just your body. I'm loving what's on the inside. At least a well-developed male will, or well-developed female will. You're married to the person on the inside because outer beauty fades, but a beautiful soul doesn't. And I'm going to end it with this. I was walking into work yesterday morning. This older gentleman and this woman, and they're walking into the building, and they held hands. And she just had this beam in her eyes. Her eyes were so sparkly, and she had such a beautiful smile on her face that they just loved each other. They had true intimacy and connection. And I almost wanted to take a picture of it. And I stayed in the elevator because they went to the wrong floor, and I took them down to the floor that they were supposed to go to, because I just wanted to stay in their presence, because I just wanted to observe something so beautiful, that how this man and this woman loved each other and had such a connection. So that's what true love looks like, sounds like, and feels like. And I can tell you, if you miss love, you miss life. Dr. Wood, have a good one.